So yeah, this week has been a crazy week for Call of Duty drama, um, and just Activision just shooting themselves in the foot constantly. Now, what we're gonna talk about in this episode, and I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I'm gonna try my best to keep all my like personal opinions and like views and beliefs and whatnot out of the whole LGBT Pride Month debate, because I know if you say one thing, whether it's right or wrong in the right or wrong way, people will just twist and discombobulate it and just throw it in the crowd of madness that is the zoo of Twitter. So I'm just gonna keep most of my views to myself, but I know that you were AMs about this cow, so I want to see what you have to say about this whole thing.
Oh my gosh, dude. I cannot like we said, crazy week, Call of Duty blowing their brains out. I thought it was really interesting that just last week they put out these operator bundles for creators. And they were like the creators of the Call of Duty community. They chose Nick Merckx and Tim the Tatman. And then, I agree. I think we should keep our own personal opinions out of it because ultimately, I mean, it doesn't really matter for what we're talking about today. But, things happened and Nick Merckx saw some troubling things. And, I don't even think what he said was that bad. On like a scale of like 1 to 10, I would put it at like a -2. All he said was leave kids out of it. And from what I saw, it was more talking about the protest. Like, don't let kids see this madness. Like, don't let kids see, people fighting in the streets. Like, that's what I think. I truly believe that's what he was talking about. And to go from that to pulling his bundle that fast, it's just wild to me, dude.
Yeah, like the whole protest or like fight or like literally like a street fight broke out because like between like parents of students, because like this like school district somewhere was holding a council meeting because they wanted to like determine whether they should include like Pride Month in their schools, elementary school by the way, and like the parents literally got in a street fight. So that's what he was commenting on. And yeah, it's like, and people are like making like all these comparisons, how like Call of Duty is so quick to shut down this guy for stating something that I think like something like wanting to leave the kids out of something like that. I think that's just common sense, especially that young in elementary school. And then people are like making fun of Call of Duty because they're so quick to like go after this guy Nick Merckx, but their game is still broken 7 or 8 months after release. So, yeah.
Yeah, like, and I don't want to take over. I don't want to take all the time here, but and I think maybe part of it was like leaving the pride stuff out of schools because he did comment and say, "Look, I'm a father now, and I get it, but it could have easily gone for the protest or riot, whatever you want to call it." But I just think that leaving kids out of anything that I feel like as a parent, that's a pretty milquetoast thing you can say. Like, that's very like, look, let's leave kids out of all of it. I don't understand why that's controversial. Like, to me, that's the most like level one, like non-offensive thing that he could have said. Like, he could have said a lot more, personally. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, Scully?
To be honest, I try to stay out of like the drama on Twitter as much as I can. So like, I'm not like, don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't see it, because I do see it. Like, even if you don't want to see it, you're seeing shit happen all the time on Twitter. So it's not like you can avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. Activision is a company. Is a very company.
Yeah.
when it comes to handling like these kinds of situations, because like I didn't even like the only reason why I knew about this because like the other people in the Discord I'm in, they're like on Twitter going like, oh my god, like Nick Merckx is getting canceled, like not canceled, but his bundle's getting removed off of Modern Warfare 2, was it?
Yeah.
His bundle's on. because he said something along like in the LGBTQ that like was like crossing a line apparently in Activision's eyes or something like that. And then the one thing I saw was like Tim the Tatman was like, you know, if you're gonna pull his bundle, you pull mine too. I thought that was a massive W.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Massive Tim the Tatman W.
W Tim trending. So
yeah, I saw that.
I love seeing stuff like that. Bros coming together to fight the hate mob. Which by the way, the hate mob flows both ways, guys. It's not one way. And like, you know, I was
double-sided sword.
Yeah, I was like tweeting about this, how like people are like they go on Twitter, and especially in situations like this where it's such a touchy subject that nobody can win, and people just escalate on each side, up and up and up. And like, you know, if you say what Nick Merck said and you agree with it, now you're a homophobe and you hate everyone in the trans community. Or if you like, I think I messed it up, but like if you like disagree with like that, then you're like a chomo, you know. I don't want to use the other word, but you know, it's just it's like there's no gray area. It's either left or right. It's so mind-boggling to me that these people. I mean, it's Twitter, and there's a reason why I called it a zoo at the top of this, is because they're animals. So yeah, it's just no nuance or just like critical thought at all. I don't understand like that one bit.
Right. And I Scully, I think you're wise to stay out of it, because I normally, there was a couple of years there that I didn't touch Twitter, and I recently, you know, starting to do this podcast, I feel like I've had to keep up on things a little more. And it really is, Twitter is, I mean, they call it the brain dead app for a reason. Like, people are so brain dead. They get on there and they just tweet and they just don't stop, and it kills me. You know, I was watching through, I don't know if you guys have looked through the replies to any post Call of Duty has made, but it's great, dude. It's great. And it goes, like Riley said, it goes both ways. Like, there's no gray area. You're either, you're either a homophobe or you go the other way. You know, I don't want to say it on here, but you guys both know what I said. Yeah. and there, you know, no nuance. Like, there's no middle ground. Like, you can't just say, you know, good for Nick for standing up what he believes for, and, you know, good for Call. No, it's one or the other. And it's, you know, I think it's a shame that this political BS, that it has infected every aspect of our life. And I hate it. Like, I would say I keep up on politics as much as I have to know what's going on, but I hate it. Like, I absolutely hate it. It's always depressing. It's always about this person getting this person, or this person stabbing this person in the back, or, you know, we gotta score political points on this, because, and, you know, and Activision, I would say, is one of the worst, because in the Western world, I guess I could say, as they push pride in their games, you know, and it's not just Call of Duty, it's Overwatch. You know, Overwatch had like this pride map. I don't know all of it. I don't play the game, but I saw that, which I don't have a problem with. You know, do whatever you want. What I have a problem with is pushing it on a certain group of people and not pushing it in other countries. China, Saudi Arabia.
Oh boy. Oh no.
You know, they can't have any of that there. And it's like, okay, so where do you stand, Activision? And this is what gets me fired up. Where do you stand? Do you stand with the people who are actually anti-homophobic and anti-pride, which are these other countries? You're perfectly happy to take their money, but you're not, you know, you don't stand with them. If you don't stand with them all the way and you pull your game from that country because you say, look, this is what we believe in, you know, I don't buy it. I think it's BS, and I can't take it seriously.
Yeah. And like, I think that like the best comparison for this whole thing is that this literally happened to Activision Blizzard like a few years ago. There was this Overwatch tournament. No, it was League of Legends tournament. And this guy comes on and he's like, free Hong Kong, you know, when that whole thing was going on. And then, you know, he gets banned. The broadcasters get like terminated, I think. And then like, but, you know, Activision, whenever the BLM stuff goes on, they're like, Black Lives Matter. And then everyone is just free Hong Kong, free, you know, just, yeah, they don't care. I don't I seriously don't get it why they just like submit to like the hate mob on Twitter of all places, and then literally starting a war, in my opinion, like on the internet. It's like, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, no, and this has already been said, but and it's so hateful and it's so visceral and it's so immediate too. Like I saw Tim the Tap Man before he told Call of Duty to pull his bundle. I don't know if you guys saw this. Yeah. He basically said, "Yeah, I talked to Nick Merckx." Like, I don't remember exactly what he said. I could pull it up, but it doesn't really matter. Basically, he said, I talked to Nick Merckx, and everyone was calling him out, like, "Hey, like he's your friend, and you're not standing with him, and all this stuff," And it was either like, "Good for Tim and not going along with Nick Merckx," or like, "Dang it, Tim, like you should be going along with your friend." It's so visceral and it's so fast. Like, maybe he was always planning that, and he had to talk to his agent or whoever because he didn't know the effect it would have, like, on his business, And like Riley said, there's no nuance. Like, it's either you're for X, Y, or Z, or you're against it, or you die now. And it just, it's not good. It's bad. It's really terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like we could just take something that Activision has done in the past and just put it in today, and it's just all of these situations are just like interchangeable. And like I've seen people bring up this and I do sort of agree with it, that people care more about this than they do about like when all of these like sexual assault allegations were going on, when that woman supposedly killed herself because for example, Dr. Disrespect uninstalled the game because they removed Nick's skin.
What we got to do is uninstall the game. Number one. I mean, don't get a mistake, in this year's Call of Duty is the worst in its franchise. But that decision by COD's PR marketing team, I'll tell you right now, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to digest for the two-time. I feel like, A, they either need to apologize publicly to him or reinstate his bundle in order for me to consider playing Call of Duty again. That's where I'm at.
You can make as many wife jokes as you want, but I think that's like, a cool thing to do, whatever. Will he reinstall the game? People know his history with uninstalling and reinstalling games, so I don't know, but yeah, it is somewhat concerning. I think people are just like fired up over this whole Pride Month thing that makes people more amped up about it than the sexual assault stuff from a year or so ago. I don't know. Depending on how you look at it, it's Activision is yet again a bad company. So
always have been, always will be.
Yeah.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer company. I'll just throw that in there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of touched on this earlier, but like Call of Duty, what did it take them? 24 hours to remove the skin? How many hackers have been going on these older games that they still charge full price for, by the way?
Yeah.
That still people's information that ruin people's computer, and they can brick systems now. Like they can completely ruin people's stuff on their IPs that they charge full price for. Yeah. Games that are over 10 years old, and they haven't lifted a finger. I guess they did do that, whatever that was in Black Ops 3 like 2 months ago, that didn't change anything. What a joke. But but you better not say a thing about the month that we're in, or we will take you down just like that. It just, like I said, I would take it more I would take them more seriously if they took it seriously themselves. What about these other countries? And I don't mean to go down a rabbit hole, but the same thing happened with the Marvel movies, or with Star Wars, The Force Awakens. China took the poster for the movie, and they took what's his name?
Finn.
I am so bad.
They made him like so much smaller in like the Chinese version.
They shrink him down in the Chinese version and put him in the background because he's an African American male.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't like that there. You know, they take him from what he was part of the main part of the poster and they shrink him down. You know, and these are terrible practices that we as, you know, American or not American, but you know, US based or Western countries, however you want to say it. You know, we're feeding into that. You know, you talk about fighting hate and fighting racism and all this stuff. Well, you're feeding into it by pushing your stuff onto these markets, and you're bending the knee to them by allowing them to dictate to you what you can have in the movies and in the posters. And I think it's despicable. I can't stand any of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like where this whole thing is at now is that like which by the way, Call of Duty as always is like just not in touch. They're like, so like Tim the Tap Man requested that his bundle be removed, and then like Call of Duty or Activision didn't even tweet this. Like Modern Warzone, as far as I know, was the one who had to tweet this. Is that like, you know, quote, this Activision rep from however they obtained this information told us that, you know, at Tim's request we're gonna remove it. So as always, Activision's and you know, the developers like communication is never ever like working well. So yeah, no surprise there, but just thought I'd nail that in.
Sorry, Scully, you can jump in whenever we're
Yeah.
pretty. I swear every episode we have another Activision piece of dirt to talk about, and they just keep feeding us, man. Like we don't want to talk about it, but they just keep feeding us more ammo.
Yeah.
I saw someone, I think it was Mr. Telexify, I could be wrong, comment on Tim's post, and it had at that time over 200,000 likes.
Oh, yeah.
And they said this is the most likes anything from the Call of Duty community has gotten since Zombie Chronicles. Like this is huge.
Yeah.
If you look at the normal Call of Duty posts, they maybe get like 3,000 to 6,000 likes and like 1,000 comments. But I think their last 3 or 4 recent posts have been like close to 1,000 likes and like 5,000 to 8,000 comments. Just people roasting them, and it's great. Like I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you wonder why, because they took out all the BO clients that made Call of Duty safe to play, and then everybody's like on their ass for it, and I can't blame them because Activision is just ceasing and desisting everybody that's like basically copying their game, but it's safer to play. It's like, what do you want the community to do? You know, like Cold War now is unsafe to play. It's like it's completely like you cannot play Cold War at all on any console or PC. It's just like Activision needs to get their shit together, and that Microsoft Activision deal needs to go through as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just not to trample over what you're saying, Scully, but just to go back to the whole like statistics here, I have Call of Duty's Twitter pulled up, right? All right. Season 4 reveal trailer, 5,100 likes, 5,000 replies. The battle pass, of course, everyone is hyped for the battle pass. So much so, there's 1,000 more comments than there are likes on the post. Let's see. Yeah, 6,000 comments, 2,000 likes. Jeez. Yeah, people are just nailing Call of Duty right now. And yeah, this whole cease and desist stuff, that's kind of what like started it like for us like on the podcast, I think, is that like it's just they're just trying to funnel people into this game that they're making that people just aren't liking really. Like I personally like the gameplay. Like the gameplay is fine in Modern Warfare 2, but there's not much to do besides go for camos and buy bundles. So I don't play it.
Yeah, you take that back. They have a new bundle in there for you to buy every day.
Which
it only costs like $24.
Oh boy.
They can take their bundle and shove it up their ass.
Which
that's another thing I've seen a couple of people posting on Twitter like, I have the rarest skin in Call of Duty right now, and it's the Nick Merck skin. And the second one is Tim's.
Which by the way, we are never seeing creator skins ever again. Just gonna say that.
After this fiasco, not a chance.
Yeah.
Which, like, from a creator standpoint is kind of a disappointment, but it makes so much sense from a PR standpoint. Like, I bet they never ever imagined the bloodbath they were walking into. Like, they never would have gone down this path. And you can't foresee it. And I think that's, getting back to the visceral reaction of everybody. Either you're for it or you hate it. Like, that was a wild thing to happen for such a little thing said. It was less than 10 words. It was less than 5 words. And, it's wild.
Yeah.
But it's good. Like, I think, we've been calling here on the Couch Co-op for a boycott of Call of Duty for at least, what are we on? Is this
6?
episode 6?
Yep.
Yeah. For 5 episodes, and it's finally happening, and I love it. I love every second of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I think that's pretty much the height of that situation for now. Anyway, it seems to be escalating every single day. So,
hey, you might have new shit to talk about next week too.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, we have a lot to talk about this episode, by the way, because. And
do you mean Activision? Talking about Activision wasn't enough?
Man, we can make a whole series.
Just keep going.
I mean, we're just going to get ceased and desisted anyway.
Yeah.
Well, before we change the subject, do you guys think this will carry over to the next game, since there is going to be a COD 2023?
I'll just say this now: I am not buying the next Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Like, there's even if I wanted to buy it, we got nothing for the next Call of Duty game.
Okay, but let me throw something in here. What if Zombie Chronicles 2.0 is included?
Still not buying it.
It won't happen. We don't got to worry about it. But
I mean, like, Sledgehammer is making it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Their track record for zombies are lackluster at best.
Oh, all right. I just had to throw that in there.
I mean, I will say, like, their best zombies was World War II zombies, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that X Defiant will maybe not take over, but it might just like be like right there with Call of Duty next year. Because I mean, like, good lord, like, no matter how you feel about Sledgehammer games, they don't do well, like, at all, really. So, I mean, I think that, which again, like we talked about last time with X Defiant, I don't think that there's a release date, but if they come out at like the same time generally as the next Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3 supposedly, there's no better time. It's just shove it into Activision as much as you can, and if they release then, that would be perfect, just perfect. So I hope that they do that. No, I will not be buying Modern Warfare 3. I'm
also, I'd like to point out too that plutonium is the only thing left for people to play on safe Call of Duties.
It's really sad. I mean, it's awesome for plutonium, but it's sad. Sorry, I interrupted. Keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm in Discord with a lot of other people. Justin, Justin Time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a group with those guys, and we play Black Ops 2 Plutonium from time to time because it's a lot better than just standard Black Ops 2 because there's actually people take the time to mod the game and add new different things and stuff like that. But we've all said if for some reason they decide to cease and desist Plutonium, we're never playing Black Ops 2 because there's no real reason to play it because everything is just basic and it's I guess what I'm just trying to say is if Plutonium gets shut down, I don't think I'll be playing Call of Duty anymore. That's basically the bottom line.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think it's great. You know, I think that we as gamers, as the Call of Duty community, need to hold Activision's feet to the fire and not buy the next game. Show them with our wallet that we're sick of their crap and we want an actual game, and we want an actual zombies mode.
And a stable game that won't expose my IP just for playing, just for loading up the damn game.
And like I would love nothing more than to see only like 20,000 or 50,000 people buy the game. You know, can you imagine how bad that would hurt if people just actually boycott? If people stick to it, people won't, but I hope that people will. You know, us three, I think, will here. There's no reason to buy it.
I mean, I didn't even buy Modern Warfare 2. Like, I can't stand newer Call of Duties anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing different. Okay, there's slight differences than Modern Warfare. Like, there's no, unless you care about the campaign, which I think was okay, but there's no reason to.
I'd say like the best newer Call of Duty was Cold War, but now you can't even play it anyway. So
it's almost like a conspiracy theory that we are talking about, right? It's almost like Activision's doing this to their own games, but
it's not a conspiracy theory if you actually know what's going on.
That's true.
And like to kind of like touch on like the newer Call of Duties losing their flavor. Warzone actually removed the 2.0 in their name now. So now it's just called Warzone instead of Warzone 2.0 because they realize how bad they messed up. I mean, come on. It's not even half the game of what Warzone 1 was. So
I'm still not downloading it.
Yeah. No, me neither, man. It's like it's massive. So is Modern Warfare 2. Like, it's a massive game. It's so big. Don't take that out of context. It's just part of me is like sick of talking about Activision, but part of me also loves dogging on them because they deserve it. But yeah, so we'll those are my final thoughts on the Activision stuff.
Hey guys, I'm in New York City just hanging out.